your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming. This is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, Scottsbluff County commissioners say they are taking proactive steps to address concerns brought up by the state auditor examining about 18 months of county finances. Responding to anonymous complaints about charge card usage, the APA investigated and released results Wednesday, finding a small number of purchases potentially disallowed by law, a few that had incomplete backup documentation, and nearly 10 where state sales tax was erroneously paid. Board Chair Mark Harris addressed the matter when it came up as an agenda item during Monday's meeting.
But as we added up the dollar amounts, all of the transactions that they talked about added up to less than $1,000. Is that right, Lisa?
Yes.
So
yes.
They're not extensive, but it's we take them seriously up here, and we want to be proactive in helping them through their investigation, and it has caused us to start some of our own investigations.
However, the auditor's report also named 2 employees, facility manager Jay Steenley and county attorney diversion coordinator Tammy Fry, as having used a county credit card to pay for personal purchases each one time, and said Steenley also used at least one home improvement store rebate belonging to the county to pay for personal items. While both reimbursed the county for the erroneous credit card charges, the APA was referring that information to the county attorney, Nebraska Attorney General, and Accountability and Disclosure Commission for further review due to potential violations of state law. Well, one person has been arrested in connection to a Scotts Bluff stabbing that occurred in the early hours of October 4th. Scottsbluff police were dispatched to the alley in the 1700 block between Broadway and Avenue A in response to a complaint of a 22-year-old male with a stab wound to his chest. Last week, 21-year-old Jordan Fuentes of Scottsbluff was arrested on charges of second-degree assault and use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony. Bond in this case was set at $75,000, and he'll be back in court on Friday to have the case bound over to Scottsbluff County District Court. And the Alliance Police Department is requesting the public's assistance in identifying a woman believed to be involved in multiple cases of bank fraud across western Nebraska. According to a release from Chief David Levitt, the subject has used fake identification to withdraw money from accounts that are not her own. Levitt says to date, the suspect has targeted Security First Bank in Rushville, First Interstate Bank in Alliance, and Platte Valley Bank in Bridgeport, stealing nearly $30,000 in total. Now, if you know of or have information of who this individual is, you're asked to contact the Alliance Police Department or your local law enforcement agency. Well, coming up after the break, we'll have the Rural Radio Network's Cattle Call after a very turbulent week on the markets.
The journey of a dream becoming reality. When we're young, a dream develops into a passion. That passion continues to manifest and grows as you do. It becomes all you want to do and all you want to be. It gives you direction. It drives you. Then, your dream has become a reality. When that dream is ready to be reality, Platte Valley Bank will be with you every step of the way.
Once again, it's Brad Koima and Barlick at Sioux Center, Iowa, as we talk about the markets. Boy, do we have some things to talk about this week. A number of good questions that were submitted by our viewers and our listeners. But first of all, just a quick recap on the markets last week. Nice little pop in the cash market. We'd been looking for that for a while, and it came last week, huh, Brad?
Absolutely. Chad, thanks again for having me on. Enjoyable show. $10 in 2 weeks on cash cattle, 5 the week before, 5 last week. And the timing was remarkable. If people have forgotten what happened here last Friday, we were down the limit on feeder cattle, which is $9.25. We were down a chunk on the live cattle. And while during and after all of that was going on, you had a couple of packers step in and be willing to pay $2.40, which was 5 higher than a week ago. I mean, remarkable. To me, a disparity between the worry about, well, what does this mean that this administration is bent on lowering the price of beef, compared to the fact that, well, cash is king, and there's still, I don't care what they say today, there's still a shortage of fat cattle, and so you got a packer chasing the cash market. So I don't know if I've ever seen that kind of disconnect between a horrible futures day and 5 higher on cash cattle. Truly amazing.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting, too, that last week's total number was a significant number, and maybe it's just because we didn't move much in the week before. If you average the 2 weeks out, it's probably a normal couple of weeks, isn't it?
The number of negotiated trade. Yeah. Nice pickup, Chad. Yeah, you could do research for me. Last week there was a bubble, though. You're right. And maybe as you balance that between the 2 weeks, makes a little bit of I would be selfish enough to use that to prove my theorem that the more cattle you negotiate, the higher the price is. In fact, I've got about 10 years worth of a study that various college interns have done for me, that it's not sophisticated enough if I'm not at a state run, and don't have the right letters behind my name, PhD. But I continue to be convinced that when you have more negotiation, you also have better prices. But the other thing on that deal, we had remember 2 weeks ago, you talked about that, but we had draw down that 15 to 30. So you kind of pulled that packer a little closer to the knife too, which I always use as a bit of an indicator. Now last week we were quite a bit higher on the 15 to 30 days. So we'll see. I think most people are expecting higher cash this week. We'll see. There's been a little bit of steady money paid here on a Wednesday. Not a lot, but just a little bit at 240. So we'll see. I think with the softer futures, that might soften that tone just a little bit, but I would have thought that last week too.
Yeah. All right. Well, and you mentioned it too. There's been some headlines since last week and even today, wondering, okay, what does this plan by the government to lower consumer beef prices, what does that look like? We still don't know a lot, maybe know a little bit more than we knew at the end of last week. And we could talk about what they want to do and just the idea of government intervention. You and I had talked about that before, whether that's a wise idea or not. But how is the market dealing with this idea of importing more beef or trying to affect the consumer price of beef right now?
Excellent question. And remind me to mention the dueling pianos of the market here sometime at the end of the thing, because I think that's important to the market. I'm a free market guy. I think less is more. However, you can't drive 80 miles an hour down the wrong side of the highway either. I mean, some of this extreme protectionist type political viewpoint is to me is a little bit unrealistic as well. I don't remember a lot of people complaining too much when they put the big tariff on Brazil, for instance, which somebody tell me what that was for. I mean, really, so they didn't like the way he treated the ex-president, and then make up some stuff of why we have an 86% tariff. I mean, I'm not saying what side I'm on here. It's just that there's so much stuff that plays into this thing. And you don't think the Mexican border doesn't have something to do with why the market's this high? Come on. It's somewhat unrealistic, but whenever the government meddles in here, it usually doesn't end up well. I mean, dairy buyouts, high-priced leveraged grain in an environment where they don't do the right thing for price protection. I worry about it, but what it's creating here is this split, this duel of cash is king, and you can't make any more fat cattle, whether they open Argentina or Brazil or whatever they announced today when Rollins and Trump talked today, whenever that's going to be. That's not going to change the supply of fat cattle this week or next week or for the next several months, frankly. On the other hand, uncertainty, if you're a long speculator, and they make an awful lot of who trades futures market, let's be realistic. If you're a long speculator, do you think you're not getting a little sick of this? I mean, feeder cattle down $6, fat's down 2.5, because we might hear an announcement today. I worry that you're shifting some of the bulk of the trade here away from that long speculator. It says, let's let it settle down, then we'll see what happens. Because every day there's potential sellers. People that feed cattle are potential sellers every day. So
thanks again, Brad. Appreciate it. Brad Koima and Varlick at Sioux Center, Iowa. And thank you for listening and watching too, again, this week's Cattle Call.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
I imagined retirement in a place where we could enjoy our golden years, where adventure and friendship are the only items on the schedule. The Garden Homes at Northfield gives us the luxury we planned for and peace of mind when it comes to convenience, safety, and comfort. We never have to stop and think about the day-to-day upkeep. We love to explore abroad, but most importantly in our backyard. So much to do, so much to see. Here at Northfield, we get the protection of life care, incredible tax benefits, and secured rates for aging services. It's peaceful, knowing that if our needs change, we'll be taken care of. And most importantly, that our kids will never have to make any tough decisions. There never seemed to be enough time to do all the things we wanted. Now we get to focus our energy on enjoying what this community has to offer. At the Garden Homes, life is ours again. A place we had dreamed about. A chance to focus on us.
A mini high school football playoff preview plus what else is on tap for a busy Thursday and heading into the weekend. The Class D1 football playoffs start today. We've got a pair of broadcasts from that bracket. Up first at 2 o'clock, a home game for 13-seed Hemingford against 20-seed East Butler. Bobcats head coach Josh Dean says getting to play at home this afternoon is a big deal for his squad.
Being able to play under or at home here and keep everything routine for our kids is ginormous. We've played a game at 2 o'clock at home this year, so we're just hitting routine. That's going to be an advantage for us and an advantage that the kids worked really hard for.
The Bobcats' last playoff win came in 2018. They enter at 7-1. East Butler comes out west with a 6-2 record. Broadcast today on 94.1 The Brand starting at 1:45. At 3 o'clock this afternoon in that same D1 bracket, 6-seeded Bridgeport entertains Clarkson Lee. Bridgeport just the one loss this year to Dundee County Stratton, while Clarkson Lee heads out at 4-4. They had a 4-game winning streak snapped last week. Bulldogs coach Jeremy Reimers offers up a key for his team to have some success today.
We got to definitely win on first down, because if they can get in a rhythm and win that first down play, and then they're okay with getting 2, 3, 4 yards every play, and then they'll go for it on a lot of fourth downs if they're within 2 yards, no matter where they are on the field. So keeping them off schedule, winning that first down and making them having to go second and long, third and long. That's a really big key for the defense in this game.
Bridgeport hosting Clarkson Lee this afternoon. We'll have it with Trayton Harmon on KMOR 93.3. 2:40 the start time for the pregame show. Again, kickoff there at Bridgeport at 3 o'clock. Tonight, the local broadcasts roll on with prep volleyball as Scottsbluff hosts Gering. This match tonight has no bearing on district seeding for next week. Those brackets and matchups will be released today. This is the second matchup this season for the two teams, with the Bearcats winning at Gering in a sweep earlier in the year. Gering played on Tuesday and won in 5 at home over Sydney. Scottsbluff, they've been off since a road loss. They were swept at Ogallala a week ago tonight. Coverage tonight with Jeff and Molly on 107.3 The Trail at around 5:45. And WNCC volleyball home the next 2 nights for matches against Otero and then Trinidad State. Tonight, the annual Positively Pink breast cancer awareness match. First serve against Otero at 6 o'clock. Chuck Schwartz will be at Cougar Palace tomorrow night with the broadcast for the Trinidad State match. KOLT tomorrow starting at 5:45. High school football tomorrow. Scottsbluff hosting York, Gering home to play Hastings. That's the latest today from the Sports Desk. I'm Chris Cottrell.
When it comes to your health, you deserve the very best. At Morrill County Community Hospital, they provide top-notch care with compassion and expertise. From routine checkups to advanced surgeries, their dedicated team is here for you 24/7. With state-of-the-art technology and a patient-first approach, they ensure you and your loved ones receive the highest quality care. Because at Morrill County Community Hospital, your health is their priority. Visit Morrill County Community Hospital today in Bridgeport. Morrill County Community Hospital. Exceptional care right here at home.
Let's take a look at your community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Pet waste and water don't mix. Animal waste decomposes in water, releasing nutrients, which deplete the oxygen fish and other life need to survive and encourage harmful algae growth. Animal waste also has disease-carrying bacteria, making contaminated water unusable. It's easy to prevent pet waste pollution. Simply pick up your pet's waste and dispose of it in a trash can, and avoid letting your pets defecate within 200 feet of our community's waterways. Tri-City Stormwater reminds you it's our water, our responsibility.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, the Scottsbluff United Chamber of Commerce's Government Affairs Committee hosted its annual State of the Valley Luncheon Wednesday, but this year with a twist. In years past, it's been the mayors who typically go over the last year's happenings and what's in the future for their respective cities. However, this year, a panel of 8 representing schools, the city, and the county took part in a question and answer forum. The questions range from what are things happening behind the scenes that you wish the public would know to what's the importance of collaborations with other entities. Gering City engineer Annie Folk shared one question she hears a lot.
We hear from a lot of people, why is the city not building housing? Well, that's not really what we do as the city. We can't just go out and build housing. We provide services, we provide utilities, the library, parks, public safety, things like that. But that's what we do, that's our role. We don't really have the ability or the authority, for that matter, to just go out and build a bunch of housing. But what can we do? So what we have been doing, that is kind of behind the scenes, is working to try to recruit developers who can come and do some of that.
Dave Wolf with the County Tourism Board tackled the question of what's one thing you would change if you had a magic wand.
Wave magic wand funding would be on the top. But I think what we would do with tourism is we would have everybody actually be able to see what beauty we have here and the people, because we constantly hear, today we had a couple in from down south and they said, God, I can't believe how beautiful it is. And I'm like, well, it's dry and everything's brown. But we do have so much natural beauty around. And people, it's the people that keep coming back.
Other panelists from this year's State of the Valley Luncheon included County Transit Director Kurt Richter, Scottsbluff Mayor Betsy Vidlac, Gering School Superintendent Dr. Nicole Regan, Scottsbluff School Board President Scott Reisig, Gering Director of Parks, Recreation, and Leisure Services Amy Seiler, and Scottsbluff City Manager Kevin Spencer. To see more of what these community leaders had to say, you can find this story on our website at kneb.com or on our kneb.tv YouTube channel. Well, that is it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.